Hello, welcome to Monte Carlo to Marlow.
Hello, we're here with Pat Redding from Marlow FM and Fidel. He's been invited too. We'll find out his hidden gems and what he does at Marlow FM later on.
Nothing.
Pat is really, I would say, were you a founding member of Marlow FM?
No, I wasn't. I joined a year after it had started.
Okay.
And I went to one of the original meetings that they had. They set up when Tim was starting it. And then I was way too busy zipping around the world. And then I sort of really fell into it accidentally because I knew Tim, who our original founder, through Lighthouse, which we'll probably talk because that's my actual job.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Day job. And so I knew Tim because he was a long-term volunteer with Lighthouse, and he kept on talking about Marlow FM, and I'd heard about it and all the rest of it. And I got invited to a party that he was at that a wonderful lady called Donna Minette was having, and you know Donna, Donna. And she, so I went and I met another person called Catherine Allen Payne, and Catherine and I just looked at each other and absolutely clicked. And then they said, well, why don't you do a radio show together? We've got a gap for one of at the time it was called Mid-Morning Matters, and it was on a Wednesday, and my work allowed me to do that. And Catherine and I did this chat show for a few years. And then then I became friendly with a lady who sadly, tragically died, Jenny Carr. And she got me involved in sort of doing some fundraising pieces. And then I became a director because somebody else stepped down and they went, oh, you'll do that sort of thing. You know, when you're the person that's like, oh, yeah. And then I hadn't stepped back fast enough when the hands were going up. So I became a director of... it's a not-for-profit. We're not a charity, not yet. And so I became a director. And so in a director's meeting, I was moaning about one of the breakfast show presenters, saying that he was not good and he's no longer with us, so I can say this. He was playing the wrong music and all the rest of it. And Tim said, could you do better? And I said, yes. So he said, right then. And I've been doing the breakfast show now for 9 years, I think 9 years, I think.
So what time are you on?
Today is a Monday, and I was on 7 till 9 this morning.
So you are competing with Chris Evans. How does that feel?
Well, I know that Chris has his audience. The average listening for a commercial radio station is about 20 minutes. So if I can get somebody who's listening for 20 minutes, I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, but you enjoy it?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I didn't think I would, but it's very... You've been to the studio.
Yeah, I've been on a few times.
Intimate.
Yeah.
You don't feel nobody's looking at you, and you're just talking into a mic. And it is like now we're just having a conversation.
Yeah. It's really relaxed. And I've been on a few different shows, and it's so easy when you get there, to the point where I think I've been told, you're really great on the radio, but I find it quite, easy to chat.
It's not for everybody, but a lot of people are frightened of coming guests, and you're just coming and talking to me. That's all you're doing, and I'm going to play a bit of music around it, and that's that. And what I love is I choose my own music. I pick who I want to have on the show. It's fantastic.
If you look back now at your first shows, is that how that you're feeling?
Well, I think it's quite technical.
Yeah, I know. I look at all the buttons.
Once you've learned all the faders and the balances and the things you've got to think about, then for me now it's muscle memory. So when I'm training people, I'm like, you do this, slow down. So it is now, the more you do it, same with everything, the more you do it, the better it is, the easier it is. But certainly on my phone, crashing the news, chatting, and therefore not paying any attention to the fact that the track was ending. But I did that this morning. So, no, I've been doing it for 14 years.
Yeah, and there's still something that's going to happen. What were we talking about this morning? What was your kind of topic?
We were talking about, we had just done this big fundraiser on Saturday up at Oakham Grove Vineyard at Fawley. So I was talking about that and saying thank you to everybody because our own DJs were doing sets up there, and all the other people are involved. So we had a great involvement from the soon-to-be open George and Dragon.
Can't wait.
I'm excited.
Are you going? next weekend?
I'm going this Friday.
I'm staying on the Saturday.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Doing a review.
That'll
Yeah, I
be
can't wait. It looks
lovely.
amazing.
It does look amazing. The rooms
Yeah.
are beautiful. It was so needed.
Yeah.
It really showed its age. And I was a barmaid there when I was 18. So it's been in my life a long time. So I was telling Emma that, who's talking about that and saying thank you to people who have been involved. And then Lucy, my co-host, and I always have good otter and bad otter of the week, which is from she found it. And it's Otter Rescue Centre in Devon.
Okay.
And they post on Instagram, and they nominate a good otter of the week and a bad otter of the week. Now, a good otter is one that it interacts with the visitors, and the bad otter pulled all its bed into the pool, that sort of thing.
Well, it's funny because I don't know if you're aware. So when I started my website in 2000, there's a website which is now a newsletter really called Pop Bitch.
Yeah, no.
So I know Camilla started Pop Bitch, and they used to always have an otter joke.
Well, there you go.
And I thought, I wonder if that's a little homage to Pop Bitch.
Well,
but
no.
Otter's obviously popular in broadcasting.
It's weird, isn't it? I love otters. Hilarious creatures.
So
very
funny,
very intelligent. So was one of the Pop Bitch jokes, one of my favourite jokes, which is, what's a tarka dal? It's like a curry only otter. But therefore you have to understand that Tarka the Otter is a very famous book and it became a film.
So how long have you been in Marlow? How long have you lived here?
Well, we moved here when I was 6.
Gosh.
And so I've been here a long time.
Okay,
and,
we don't need to count the years.
No, well, I've just said
30 years.
Thank you, Krista. It's a bit longer. So a long time. So I went to school here, went to Holy Trinity, and I went to Wickham High and left to go to university. Thought I'd never come back.
And so what was your life plan? Did you have a career that you wanted to go into? You studied English
Yeah,
at university.
Yes.
A little bit of research.
Yes, I studied English at Exeter, and I was going to be a teacher because both my parents were teachers, and that's what I knew. So my mother taught at Paul A's, and my dad was at then Slough College, now no longer there. So that was what I was going to do, and I did Latin because
I did Latin.
I had to do Latin to go to do an English degree. I had to do Latin. And to be a teacher, an English teacher, I had to do Latin.
I had to do Latin at my girls' school.
Well, the minute I got to university, they dropped the
I
requirement.
quite enjoyed it though.
Oh, I hated it.
Did you? See, I liked ancient history.
Oh, my mother would have liked you. She was a history teacher. She'd have got Krista's the daughter I never had. The blonde one.
So English teacher, that was
that was it. And then when I got to university, I think my life changed so completely. And I discovered going out and gigs and all those sort of things, and so changed completely. So I then did what was then the milk run, when the employees would come to the universities, and Exeter's a Russell University, so it was one of the top ones, and I decided I'd go into retail. So I applied to Marks and Spencer's, who turned me down.
They really missed a trick. I had a Saturday job at Selfridges when I was at college in the toy department.
Brilliant.
Do you remember the uniform in Selfridges when it was a rust blazer?
Oh, yes.
And a brown crimpling skirt.
Lovely.
And a scarf. And I was like a groovy photography student. And every Saturday morning I had to get dressed up on the tube and go to the toy department dressed like a trolley dolly.
Oh, but I bet you rocked it. Well, actually, so we've got a good connection there because I ended up working for the John Lewis Partnership, which was the best training I could have had. So I started in John Lewis Oxford Street, and then I moved to Milton Keynes just after it was built, and I was the section manager in toys. And it was just as Star Wars had come out as well. My gosh, it was just crazy. We were so busy, and it was the best. And it was the best job.
It was fun for me.
So much fun.
I didn't want a career in it, but if I was going to do a Saturday job anywhere, it was quite fun. Yeah.
But then I broke my leg very badly on an army assault course, which we were doing for charity for John Lewis, and I couldn't stand on the shop floor. I just couldn't stand physically for that length of time. And so I sort of did a bit of a turnaround and ended up going into staff training with John Lewis, and I came to do in John Lewis speak, KDRB, knockdown rebuild of Healers in Reading. John Lewis Reading, and then went to Watford to go to Truants of Watford to do the KDRB there, to do all the training because they're bringing in so many new staff. And while I was there, my sister's ex-boyfriend worked for Maritz, who are no longer at Marlow, but were the world's leading performance improvement agency. And they were looking for somebody who was a training expert to come and work on an account. But this is how long ago it is. Midland Bank, HSBC, as we know them now.
Yeah.
And they offered me, I think they offered me £10,000 in a company car. And I was earning something like £7,500 with no company car and commuting into Watford every day from Milton Keynes. So I was like, okay. And I thought, I can come back and live with my parents in Marlow and take this job. So I started doing that, and I became an account planner. So just went into promotional marketing. But I fell into it. It wasn't what I was going to be doing.
But isn't that the way?
Yes.
How often do you really have, right, this is what I'm going to do? And it's fun that things don't all go to plan. I mean, you
honestly,
best laid plans.
Totally. And I think if I'd done I'm going to be a teacher or the rest of it, I'd be such a different person.
Yeah.
My life would have turned out incredibly differently. So when I met, and while I was working there, I worked with a lovely American guy. And everybody got really confused because I'd got married by then and my son was Reading and he was Reading. And so we turn up at events and, of course, clients don't listen. So they think, are you married? Brother and sister? So we really played on that. But Don went back to California. He then went to work for a big agency that had Burger King as a client. And they made all of the toys for Burger King. Kids meal. And he said, we've just won the contracts for Europe. Do you want to run it? Oh, all right then. I had no interview, I had nothing. I just went, yeah, all right, I'll do it.
But he knew you were the right person.
Yes. And so we started that and we just grew and grew and grew the business until I got, a few kind of politics happened, as they do, don't they? And I
especially in kind of corporations.
Yes. But I spent most of my life going backwards and forwards. I was in LA like every other week, pretty much.
Nice, but a lot of jet lag.
But the hilarious story, I used to stay in the Marriott Residence Inn, which was just around the corner that was my home from home, just around the corner from the office.
And whereabouts in LA is that?
Irvine.
Okay.
So it's down in Orange County, just off the 405. And the guy there who was the manager of this was British, but lived in LA for ages, had an American wife. And he said, I came back from work and he went, are you going to have a nice cup of tea? And I said, I can't, because I cannot do boiling the water in the microwave American way.
I know. I had American interns and they're like, what's this? I'm like, it's a kettle.
A tea kettle. And the next day I got back from work and he was called Vincent. He bought me a kettle. I thought that's customer service.
That really is.
So they offered me other places to stay, but I was there. No, I'm staying here.
Yeah, the kettle's here.
Yeah, the kettle is here. My kettle.
So Burger King was obviously a massive part of your life for a long time.
And then I moved, changed agencies. I kept switching agencies for various reasons. Ended up with Kellogg's as a client, which was amazing, and they were incredible, really brilliant clients. My actual clients are still friends, which was
nice.
Such a strong relationship with them. And then the agency I was working for got bought by an American agency who then got Burger King as a client. So they were. And
you were so meant to be.
Yeah, well, the original client contact was like, oh, I'm so glad to be working with you again. I'm like, I thought I got away from it all. But honestly, I could build a Whopper still.
Jack needs to get you down at Ginger Wings. Burger.
Yes, with Jack, I could do that. No problem at all. And then it just happened that it was, this went on and on, and I kept moving agencies and doing different things. And I worked in Italy, I worked in Amsterdam for agencies, and then I ended up with somebody that was it just didn't work. It just started, for various reasons, really started falling apart. And at the same time, I'd been volunteering with Lighthouse Marlow, Lighthouse Children's Holiday Club, run by Christians together in Marlow, churches together in Marlow. And I ended up as chairman of Lighthouse. Another thing of I hadn't stepped back when everyone else.
Yeah.
So I got a job.
They're never very well paid, are you?
But that meant I'd been involved in Lighthouse Marlow was part of a group of charities. And through that, I got to know some other people, and they decided they wanted to set up a Lighthouse Central, which was going to be the centralised administration for the existing lighthouses and then to grow the lighthouse movement. They started off with and it's going to be a volunteer role. So I said, well, I'm not interested then. Yeah, I was earning a significant amount of money. I'm not interested. And honestly, God, it's like the story of Jonah. That God was moving Jonah. Every time Jonah was like, "I'm not going to where God tells me to go," and that's why he got chucked in the whale and all the rest of it. And it's a brilliant story of my journey to Lighthouse, because everywhere I went, I was like, "I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this." But yes, you are.
And we're just
And he turned me, put it in front of me again. And in the end, they said, "Oh no, we will pay." So I took a 3/4 pay cut and took the job.
You must have really recognised that if this was kept being put in front of you, there comes a point where you think, there's a reason.
There was a reason. My faith is incredibly important to me. I was increasingly realising that the shallowness of my life. I had been in Las Vegas.
Oh gosh, well, if you want a contrast.
Yeah, precisely. It's a massive trade convention in Las Vegas every year, licensing show. All of the film studios and TV companies go there, and everybody, all the agencies turn up, and we all pitch to each other. I was coming home, and it's intense because you just party constantly. And I was sitting in the departure lounge in the airport, Vegas, where they have slot machines.
I've been to Vegas Airport. It's the second you get off the plane.
And so I'm sitting there thinking, I just want to get on a plane. I just want this to be over, really. I've had enough. I'm tired. And I was always ill, because you go from being 100 degrees outside to minus 100 degrees.
And it's that weird pumped air. There's no fresh air.
There's no fresh air. No. People smoking, which I found very alien. And a lady I worked with at our church in Marlow sent me, she said, "I've just had a thought, and this Bible verse has come into my mind." And she sent it to me. Right, what I'm doing now is about as deep as nail polish, and I need to do something that's meaningful. And that was it. So I
made a change.
And I haven't regretted it at all.
You must feel so fulfilled.
I do. I miss sometimes. The licensing insurance just happened, and so all my friends on Facebook have been posting, and it's all very glittery and lovely, and like, "Oh, we're doing this, we're doing that," and a lot of my memories come up of.
Yeah, but I feel like I've done lots of really glamorous things in my life, because I've worked in fashion business and all those things, and it's not like I think, oh, life is over, I'm done.
Yeah,
but I do think, I'm all right, actually. I've done so many amazing things, and been to great parties, and interviewed big movie stars.
Exactly.
And I don't feel like I'm missing out. I just feel lucky that I did.
I danced on a table with Ray Parker Jr.
Haven't we all?
Exactly. There we go. And I went to so many premieres, it was just crazy. I've done it. I've got the stories.
Exactly.
For my party piece.
Yeah, well, that'll be the next podcast. The Ray Parker Jr. podcast. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned with all the gossip.
I feel the same from moving it from central London to Marlow. I don't go out much at all. Whereas when I was in London, I was out every single night. Not always at a raving party, but I was invited to things. And because I live so centrally, I could walk home in 5 minutes, and I thought, I'll pop my head in. So, but being here, it's just a different stage of your life, isn't it? I'm just quite happy.
Yes, yeah. And I think as well as you get older, you just need to. Do you need to calm down? I was talking to some friends when I had my birthday at the weekend, and I was saying, "Oh, I'm a bit old, and it's this, that, and the other." And then I was talking about I'm getting a new tattoo, and so
definitely having another podcast.
And my friend Ian he said, "I don't know why you're worried about being old." He said, "Everything you're talking about doing, that's not somebody that's sort of coming to the end of their life."
The whole age is just a number thing, I think, is more and more relevant these days.
Definitely.
And I think the fact that we've had this exciting life and we're doing different things, it's like the start of a new life, really, in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
And starting new things and doing so many different jobs. And I think, being on the radio, you must have lots of different people in.
And I think maybe I'm just thinking as you were saying that maybe it's the radio that still gives me the rock and roll.
Yeah, you've got your music that you get to choose. Yes. You just get to speak to so many different guests. So really you've still got that kind of lots of different people coming in. It's not just a grind of work from home.
And then I go and work on Jesus.
But with guests at the radio, who've been some of the most exciting people that you've had in?
Well, we don't have many on the breakfast show, because breakfast show is so... I'm sorry.
I haven't been on the breakfast show.
I've not been on the breakfast show. The guest that I'm most looking forward to having is Krista. We get to announce quite a lot of things as well. So when Chris Hughes from Brand Events will come on, Pub in the Park Festivals, he came on. When Pub in the Park was first starting, he would come on and just sort of chat about things. And that's really exciting to be part of the beginning of the thing.
From Pub in the Park, don't you?
We do.
Yeah, so that must be a bit of a highlight.
Yeah, I don't go because I don't get looking. I just organise it.
What other highlights do you think Marlow FM has over the year?
For me personally, one of the things that matters the most is the fact we are part of the community, that we're in the heart of the community. We met through the Chamber of Trade, and I'm really honoured to represent Marlow FM. We are invited to a broadcast live from the Service of Remembrance, and I've always done that.
That must be really special.
It's very special. And to be able, for people that can't physically get there, we know that people listen, so people that can't physically get there, or people who've got family in Marlow are listening all over the world.
When I first moved here, which I was so surprised at what a massive event that was. Stood in the high street and could not believe it. So emotional. And I was a girl guide and a brownie. So I kind of felt even more looking at those people in the parade. Sort of quite makes you feel quite tearful thinking about it now.
I find it very emotional, and I think it's such an honour to be able to do that. I mean, we do a lot of outside broadcasts. So yes, Pub in the Park. We were at the May Fair. We'll do Marlow Carnival. We were at the Regatta. We do the Red Kite Ride for Marlow Sports Club. We're at Heathfest next weekend. We've done some football. We've done some football things, all sorts of things. All of those are brilliant. They are brilliant, and it's amazing to be able to be in the community, for the people of Marlow to see their community radio in action.
Marlow's so lucky to have a community radio show. I mean, do you know any other places that have got something quite as special and unique as Marlow? Any other towns?
Yeah, I think there are. Well, Wickham Sound. Yes, they're excellent and do great work in Wickham as well. And there's a lot of other community radio stations around.
Does it cost a lot to run?
It's not cheap because you've got to pay performing rights for all of the music. You've got to have the most amazing kit because it can't fall over. So if you saw our internet,
was it
quite extraordinary?
And that's amazing to get decent internet in Marlow anyway.
Yes, we're very lucky. We're so lucky that Tim, so Graham, our managing director, and Tim, who's our technical director, but originally the founder, first managing director, they are so knowledgeable, just incredible.
They must just love it though, live and breathe it.
I'm not sure that Graham would say he loved it some days when there's sort of like, this is broken again. But no, we have to pay for professional Zoom for guests. It cost us $100,000 to build a new studio last year. But we fundraised the whole lot of that.
And I've been to that new studio and it does look
is
great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, I've been to 3 different studios.
Oh, yes.
Longridge. And then in the library. And now where you are now. And it's very smart, actually.
So grateful to the library for the space that they gave us, which solved a massive problem. Because Longridge were amazing, homing us for many, many years. But the problem is with Longridge, they need everything to be on stilts because of the flooding. And our building got flooded regularly.
Water and electricity don't go well
together. And honestly, we've got some amazing photographs of all volunteers with sandbags, leaders, and all sorts of things. And then Phil, who's no longer, he's still involved in the radio, but doesn't present anymore, but going past on a kayak because the water was so high. And Tim's doing the breakfast show. Phil's going past in a kayak.
It sounds very Morecambe and Wise.
It was a bit comedy. We love being there, and Great Marlow School have made us so welcome.
How exciting for them, though, to have you there.
Well, we want to do a lot more with them as well. So Stuart Ross, who teaches drama there, he has a show called on a Saturday called Stuart on a Sunday, Sarah on Monday, and he brings children in. His pupils come in. And they do the show with him.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And he has lots of competitions with them, and their mums and dads come, and it's amazing.
Great way to get them in.
Really good way. And Stuart and I have been talking about, we want to do another show, which we used to have a show called Welcome to the Weekend, which was like real zoo radio. Zoo radio is really hard to do. You think that kind of madness.
It's organised madness.
Organised madness, yeah. And so we want to bring that back on a Friday. So hopefully from September with a new cohort of media students.
That would be cool.
We'll try and start to get them. So at the moment, Stuart writes the show and the children come in and do it. This way, they would write the show.
They've got to come up with the content.
Produce the show. They do the engineering. They do the publicity. We're just there.
Go and look out.
Make sure it doesn't fall over. So that's the plan. Because, as I said, being part of the community is the massive thing for us. And I think that's why we do. Well, I don't know why. If you each presenter would have a different reason that they're doing it, but a lot of us, I know, are because we love Marlow. We want to give back to Marlow, and that's
Well,
the
that
way
really
of doing
comes
it.
across, I think, in everything we do. So to wrap up, what would say you love Marlow? If someone is visiting Marlow, where should they go? What are your, because one of the things that you do at Marlow FM is a Hidden Gems Award, and that can be like best cafe. I don't know all the categories, you'll know them, but I know
Best
cafe,
night out.
best night
Best
out.
night out.
So, you know, secretly behind the scenes, what would be some of your own hidden gems?
My
in
own
Marlow?
hidden gems in Marlow.
It can be your favourite duck if you like. as well.
Favourite duck. I mean, I love the river.
Yeah.
I live very close to the river, and I love that. And just being able to walk along the river and just see the people having a great time in the park is
We're
fantastic.
so lucky with the river. I just
So-
wish we could swim in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't do that. Not at the moment.
No,
not at the
definitely
moment.
not. No.
And then I just think you just walk up the high street. There's loads of things to look at in windows.
It's a nice buzzy high street.
And we have an abundance of great places to eat, to drink, and there's always something new coming. I mean, we talked about the George and Dragon earlier, and I'm really looking forward to a new menu in
place.
Marlow. Then it's always interesting to see what happens. But there's also like little things that up behind Boots, there's a little shop there, Nook.
Yeah, we love Nook.
And I think she just has the most amazing, clever, quirky things, and they're just a bit off the beaten track.
Emma will love that you've mentioned that, because that's always her problem of trying to get people to come up the high street.
If you want a clever food card,
You have to go to Nook.
Yeah. But also, I like the fact that we're not on the high streets you go to. We have gotten a fair share of charity shops, but we've got an abundance of independence.
Yeah.
I mean, our friend Lou at 23 Living, fantastic.
Love that shop.
Absolutely.
Can't go in there and not buy anything.
No, I'm sure you're going to be talking to lovely Christina, La Dolce Boya, that she's got the courage to step out and do something completely
I do have
new.
Visit Fest, yeah?
Yes.
Absolutely. So many. Well, when I moved here, I didn't know anybody, and actually, it was people in the high street that I got to know first.
Yes.
When I thought I'd do a wellness festival here, I thought, well, who shall I ask? Well, obviously, I'm going to ask all the people in the high street. They know more.
Yes,
And so I think those are the first people that I got to know, and probably the people I know best, actually.
I think people come here and they think, oh, it's just Tom Kerridge and it's expensive. There's lots and lots of places.
It's great cafes. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, a big shout out to our Mel at the M
who I'm
Cafe,
going to see off with.
who is just, again, she totally stepped out in faith of doing her own thing.
Ralph at Cedar and his team. Everywhere is really friendly.
Lots of really great independents that are very friendly and genuinely care about Marlow. It's such a vibrant, there's always something happening.
It is a unique place, and people always say to me, oh, what made you choose Marlow? Because I didn't know where I wanted to go. And I went to see lots of different places where I knew people that lived there, and they gave me a tour. And everybody I knew said, oh, I think you're going to like Marlow. And I came with a friend, and I literally sat outside Strawberry Grove. It wasn't even a really sunny day, I don't think. And I sat there, had a piece of cake. Went, yeah, I think I'm going to live here. And that was it.
Brilliant.
And they said, what, you'd only went there once? I went, yeah, I did only go there once.
It just felt right.
And it was the first house that I looked
Felt
at.
right.
I think it helped that I listened to Chris Evans on the radio, because it's like a big advert for Marlow.
Absolutely. I mean, Marlow, there's no denying it's an expensive place to live. But if you're lucky enough to live here, or lucky enough to visit, then it's great. And I think there is something for everybody. Because, just have a little walk along the river to go up to the Bounty and go and have a drink there, or take a boat out, or just go and sit in the park, take a picnic.
Yeah, we're really lucky. Well, thanks so much, Pat. Thanks
Absolute
for the chat.
pleasure.
That was really fun, and I think we might need to chat to you again.